Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Mark again here at Weatherman Plus. And I'm going to show you the weather pattern we have now. Then I'm going to update you on the weather pattern we're going into for the end of October, going into November. It's going to be very extreme and bringing not only a lot of cold temperatures, some very cold wind chills, even some single digit and teen temperature wind chills coming through the lower 48. Now, right now, we still have Invest 94L and what's potentially forming up by Central America. We still have this big high pressure that's protecting the Gulf of Mexico, and none of these are going anywhere towards the United States for the lower 48, just so everybody knows that firsthand. Now, there's a chance for an Invest 94L to maybe become a tropical storm, maybe even a chance for a hurricane as it gets pushed along 4 and 5 days. Right by the edge of Jamaica, maybe towards Cuba, getting some impacts as well. But then it's going to curve and come with the same area that this disturbance is going towards Belize. Going around, once again, this high pressure being steered in that direction could bring them, not only this first system bring a lot of heavy rainfall, flooding, chance for mudslides and other threats. A second one that could come from Invest 94L. Now, we still have multiple things going on right now as well. We still got this cold front that come through. And we still have that cutoff low that's going to bring colder temperatures towards the Four Corners, bring that major snowstorm definitely for the higher elevations. But then we're going to start going into a different pattern. And you can see how all that gets pushed out into the Pacific. Now, right now, they still have Invest 94L down to 30% in 7 days, 20% in the next 48 hours. It is still going to be an open tropical wave as it goes towards the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Short it still could try and form up as it's passing by Puerto Rico, towards Dominican Republic and towards Cuba. Maybe even a little bit of Turks and Caicos and southern Bahamas could get in on the rainfall and the winds. And then it's going to go by Jamaica, and that's where it has a good chance to start strengthening up. But it will get pulled further towards the west. So far, it's not showing a lot of impacts for Jamaica at the moment. Then it's going to go towards Belize, where this disturbance is moving through. Now, you can also see when you look for a chance for tropical depression, showing on both of them, still trying to become tropical depressions. Matter of fact, Invest 94L shows that it's still trying to become that strong tropical storm. Even a low-grade hurricane, still not knowing about landfall impacts on that hurricane potential. But everything's still getting pushed out through the west. But you can also see as it goes out through the Caribbean, it's going to run out of time as it goes 4 and 5 days. And it's going to start getting shredded apart with the shear and the dry air, and the chances of form is going to weaken and go away. Now, you can see everything here from the new information. So as you're looking at the time, that's very important. You can see how Invest 94L, as it goes towards 72 hours, passing by Turks and Caicos, southern Bahamas, going towards Cuba, potentially as you're going towards 4 days, maybe all the way to 5 days. And you can see the widespread area where it could potentially be in 5 days. So it all depends if it turns sooner or if it turns later. But showing that it is going to be further away from Jamaica on this group of ensembles, pushing to the west. Still showing by the other ones, this will go towards Belize. Look at this with the Canadian. It's going to strengthen up and go towards Belize. Look at the Euro towards Belize, and look at GFS towards the Yucatan and Belize. So as it starts strengthening up, as it goes towards 3 days and beyond, potentially bringing a tropical storm or even a low-grade hurricane towards Yucatan or Belize before this goes out through Mexico and the Eastern Pacific. Showing once again that Invest 94L, as it goes around 3 days, will bring a strong tropical storm potential impacts. It's trending more and more as it goes by either Dominican Republic, Cuba, some of Turks and Caicos, southern Bahamas. Then as it goes across landfall, you see how the landfall interaction takes some of the intensity out on some of these models. All of them, you can see this little dip of the intensity. These right here are the ones that turn sooner. That's why you don't see that dip. Also why you don't see it strengthening up towards that hurricane. After it goes by Cuba, potentially being a low-end Cat 1 hurricane, as it goes west of Jamaica so far, going towards Belize and Yucatan. Showing is going to try its best with the hurricane models. This is Analysis Forecast System A, showing it could strengthen up towards that tropical depression, and right before landfall towards Belize, try and strengthen up towards a low-end tropical storm. Try and get some stronger winds and bring more tropical moisture with that as that goes on landfall potentially for Saturday. As that pushes by, then Invest 94L is going to start strengthening up, get away from that dry air. Not so much of the shear, but the shear is still going to be affecting a little bit. Showing on this run that it will curve a little bit sooner and stay weak the whole time. We're seeing different things on different models. When we look at B, it still takes it, like A is showing, strengthening up towards a chance for a tropical storm, even maybe a little bit stronger of a high-end tropical storm, but still showing as it goes through Saturday. So as it goes through Friday and Saturday, that's when you're going to be getting those impacts all the way from Yucatan, Belize, all the way across Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala. A lot of heavy rainfall coming with that as well. And then you can see Invest 94L not showing a lot of strength on that. So it's going back and forth. Now, when you go by the H-Wharf, the H-Wharf show that Cat 2 hurricane, then it lower down to maybe a Cat 1 hurricane. It's showing that the disturbance going by Belize is going to be just a tropical depression, just bring very low winds and bring the rainfall, bring the flooding threat. And shows Invest 94L will turn a little bit sooner, not get too much of land interaction. The higher mountains is further to the west, and shows it will start strengthening up a little bit closer towards Jamaica. Shows it might get down to a tropical storm, but eventually weaken right back down again because of the shear. So far by the H-Wharf, one of the ones that's showing one of the worst case scenarios, you might get some thunderstorms, some precipitous water coming through the Leeward Islands as you go by tomorrow. Go by Puerto Rico, bring you some rainfall as well. All the very heavy banding will be north with the winds as well. Then it'll go by Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, go across southern Bahamas, go across Cuba as you go on towards Saturday and Sunday. Then it's going to come across and go towards Jamaica, bringing y'all some rainfall as well. But so far, taking this storm further to the west as of right now. But that will bring you some banding and some rain and maybe some potential other threats towards western Jamaica. We'll let you know as we get closer and we get better information. This is past 4 days already. We don't know if it's going to turn earlier or later yet. But you can see here with your winds as it goes by the Leeward Islands. It's not bringing y'all the winds. Y'all might get a couple inches of rainfall. It's also for Puerto Rico. Then as it goes by Turks and Caicos, goes towards Dominican Republic, it is going to be north side loaded. You might get some winds on the north side just a little bit, nothing super strong. It starts to strengthen up as it goes closer towards Cuba and as it passes Cuba. That's when it has this chance to go from a tropical storm to a potential hurricane as it weakens down immediately right after. So it does show a strengthening moment, but then it starts weakening down and it just really gets messed up from the shear. So I don't know if it'll hold itself together, but it tries. So just be aware Jamaica is a little bit closer. It all depends where it turns and how much land interaction does still weaken the system. But I do have this link in the description for you. You can go zoom in. You can check with the Euro, also with the GFS. You can see the heavy amount of precipitation that's coming with this big group of two groups of thunderstorms that's coming, trying to strengthen up. You can see how it's not really a lot showing for Jamaica when you go with the Euro, and when you go by the GFS, everything really bottles up towards Yucatan and Belize. So it's not in millimeters, it is in inches on this one, but click in, zoom in, and you can see how much you can potentially get in your area, and you can see how long maybe it'll take. Maybe it'll be a few days, maybe it'll take full 5 to 7 days. They get all the rainfall from either amount of models. Either way, it's showing us it's going to be a lot of dangerous flooding, definitely going towards Central America out of anything. You can see the latest update with the ensembles shows it will stay weak and try and become maybe a tropical depression, a high-end tropical depression, more than likely towards Belize on that first disturbance. Invest 94L will stay weak also until it gets past over there by Cuba and starts strengthening up and going to the west. Even showing it might even become a chance for a tropical storm. Not really seeing the hurricane chance just yet, and trending that it will get sheared and weaken down as it goes towards the Yucatan. But look at the possibilities after it passes by the Yucatan on the first disturbance. It gets into that southern Gulf, strengthens, and then it goes towards Mexico. Do not worry, this is not coming north at all. It is impossible. We're going to have a big high pressure pushing everything into this direction. We also can see this favorable environment that is in our area while we have all this tropical moisture coming through, trying to form up all the way into the early 20s. And still showing once we go into the end of October, beginning of November, we have a lot of strong area coming through, a lot of favorable environment for something to form. And you also can see from the Euro that we still have a lot of potential velocity, a lot of favorable environment all the way to the end of October. And as we go to the beginning of November, we do have something in our area that we need to be aware of. So far, it's showing it's going to be a little bit further towards the east. It's going to be an extreme pattern we're going to go into. So this could potentially form by the Western Caribbean, going across maybe the Western Caribbean towards Atlanta, affecting a lot of people into the Atlantic. But it also could push a little bit further to the west and maybe involved a little bit of, I hate to say it, maybe the southern or even the eastern Gulf of Mexico. It all depends where this big trough is coming in and creating this cold front. I will keep you updated. As you can see in the latest information, as soon as we go around the 25th, this cold air is going to come in and it's going to stick around for all of November. We're going to get multiple cold fronts coming through, bringing 40s all the way towards the southern side, lower 48, bringing some 20s and 30s as well, but bringing some teen wind chills and some single-digit wind chills with this as well. So you can see this when you look at your weather patterns. As you look with the Euro, you see that you're starting to get both of these systems right here. We have the Invest 94L and that disturbance going across Central America, but you also will see that you'll see this high pressure that is building, protecting the Gulf of Mexico and also steering everything to the west. That's why you don't worry about that headed north the whole time. It's been showing this for over a week, just so you know. As we get that cutoff low, bringing the below average temperatures, bringing that snowstorm still, then we're going to go into a pattern to where this high pressure is going to move. Instead of over the Gulf, it's going to move more to the west. And this is going to allow for this trough to come on real deep, bring really cold temperatures. This trough would also bring a blocking pattern for anything trying to come into the Gulf of Mexico. So that's a good thing. That's about it as well. But it is going to bring a lot of cold temperatures right as we're starting to go into that extreme pattern. As we go into the 20s, you start getting a high pressure building over here on the western side, and you start getting that deep trough coming in, and all this is cold air. Very cold air and very cold wind chills. Now that's the Euro. You can see the same thing with GFS. High pressure steering everything to the west. Everything to the west. We get that snowstorm. Then that high pressure moves over here, and then we get that cold air coming on through. And it goes deep with this cold air. But this isn't the coldest. This is the one that's going to be in the 20s. This is the beginning of it. So as we're going to begin in November, after this cold air, we're going to get another shot of deep cold blast that's coming through. And you see how close all these isobars are? This is bringing winds. That's what that signifies. There's a lot of winds with that. So the wind chill is going to be the most unbearable part. At the same time, you can see the pattern we're starting to come into. We started getting that lift, started getting that favorable environment. And remember, the favorable environment was a little bit to the east. It all depends where this trough sets up. So this could be, it could be very dangerous. It could be very not dangerous. It all depends. It could pull it out to the Atlantic and affect no one. This trough could set up here and pull it into this way somewhere along the East Coast. So that's what we really watch out for as we go from October into November, is those type of systems. But this is going to be very cold. So far showing this high pressure with cold air is going to dig deep to the south. Watch this. It comes on in for the end of October, and boom, as the high pressure goes deep to the south, all the way into Mexico with that. Why you started getting that low pressure building. I really think we need to start watching for Central America, for the Central American gyre. I think we need to watch this gyre as we go towards the end of October, beginning of November. I think it's going to start shooting off more storms, and we have a lot of favorable environment that's going to be a little bit to the east. Still showing is bringing major snowfall just within the next 3 days. Now, all this, of course, is still higher elevations, but you can see it also with the Euro. It's bringing a good bit of snowfall. Some places in that pink getting up to a foot and still showing up to a couple of feet for southern Colorado. Now, we can't see fully into November just yet, and as we start going into a little bit of it, we can see with the GFS that it is bringing a lot of cold air with that blast that I showed you coming all the way down. And this is going all the way into Mexico, bringing the 40s. This isn't even the wind chills, bringing the 20s, bringing the teens, bringing the 30s. Look, it's going all the way to the East Coast, multiple days, all the way from the West Coast as well. Now, the wind chills is going to be colder on this anomaly, and it is going to last multiple days. So after your big warm-up, then we're going into this big cold blast for November. And the wind chills just gets really bad. You start feeling those single digits, those teen temperature wind chills that rolls through with this all the way towards the south. You're going to feel like you're in the 20s in Ohio Valley, Great Lakes. You might even feel like you're in the 30s all the way towards the south. And look how this rolls further towards the east, bringing those very cold wind chills with this pattern. Look at this as we go from October into November. Now, this pattern is going to happen a few times in November. It's going to come down in the beginning, come down in the middle, come down at the end, and the end might even be colder from what I can see. But also shown by CFS Climate Forecast System as we go towards the end of October, beginning of November, that it is bringing some very cold temperatures all the way down, bringing those 40s, bringing the 20s with those wind chills. Remember, this is not your wind chills. And after we get our first dip in the very beginning of November, we're going to get another one coming through right after the first 10 days. But thank you for your time, everybody. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I actually wasn't going to upload today. I kind of been in the dumps lately. I got a lot going on for myself. I don't know if people know out there, but it's just me on this channel. I don't have any others helping do anything. It's every title you can get about doing this channel, this business, is just me. So it gets a little hard sometimes along with my life. So as you can imagine, we all have issues. But I will always be here for you. Matter of fact, that's what woke me up today. I'm like, hey, Mark, it's not about you. There's a lot going on out there. So that's why I made you the video. I hope it does help every single one of you. If it does help, please consider hitting that like button. I do appreciate you all. Now, before I go, Psalm 34, 1 through 3. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. Amen. Thank you for your time, everybody. Hope you have a great day. I will keep you updated on what's going on in the Caribbean with the disturbances we have now. Ultimately, they will continuously go west, but you might try and strengthen on the way. So that's what you got to watch out for everyone else. Make sure everyone's safe. That's the best way to go. And remember, all glory does go to God, everybody. Our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life. And forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody.